To access all full body language videos, breakdowns and analysis, alongside the game that I can't feature here on YouTube, check out the Patreon, the link is in the description. Thanks.
Everyday Superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, GAME, game, and everything in between. Don't you dare start bad mouthing, bad talking your previous girlfriends, previous relationships, no matter how sour they went, my friend. They say that about your ex-boss and your ex-managers, right? Don't go to a new job interview bad talking your last boss. Move on, brother. Because every yes opens up a corresponding no. This is some deeper game. Every yes opens up a corresponding no. You saying, my ex-missus was horrible. That raises the question, well, why was she horrible? Why did she take you for a ride? Why was she disrespectful to you? Did you deserve it? And if so, you aren't holding and withholding the masculine pedestal and principle by allowing a woman in that position to be able to do so. Bada bing! You must only bring up those you were with because there was a reason you're with them. Do you know when someone's just like, my ex-missus was nuts, blah, 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 blah. Bruh, she is but a mirror to you, my brother. You as the man looked at your reflection in her, the woman, the masculine and the feminine conjoined as two become one, as yin and yang, as lightness and darkness, as the sun and the moon, as everything in between, my brother. And now you're pointing in the mirror that reflects yourself, saying, disgusting, horrible. I don't care if she cheated on you, because the thing is, the moment you bring up the fact she cheated on you, it raises the questions, well, why did she? Are you cheatable? You know what, you got me thinking maybe I should do that to you because you seem, it seems to be a thing in your life, Do you know the kid in the playground who gets beaten up and doesn't fight back? It opens up the doorway for more people to do that. Don't awaken the lion in that woman. Be nice, be pleasant. And the thing is, when she sees the counter opposite, that you're actually quite positive about your ex. Yeah, it didn't necessarily work out, but I can only blame myself, right? I mean, it was me who chose her because I have the power and I have the control and I make the choices, right? And I take ownership. Yes. Then all things are good. Yeah, don't worry about it. Still can get in touch whenever, but yeah, just didn't think it was worthwhile holding out for, There we go. No problem. She'll think I want to sleep with him. What a lovely guy. This is the nice guy. Do you know what I'm on about? This isn't the nice guy. This isn't Mr. Nice Guy who's like, I'm pretending to be nice to conceal the inner demon. This is Mr. Nice Guy who is understanding, self-serving, and knows some things don't go as planned and takes ownership because of that and continues a great personal communication with an individual, disregarding the fact that maybe they didn't work out in a particular realm. That's fine. It's called a good reference, isn't it? It aids you. Testimonials sell themselves. You establish a reputation. Yes, I did have a relationship, by the way. Yes, it did go well, by the way, and it finished well, by the way. That sounds like a good roller coaster. Do you know? You get on it, you enjoy your time, you pay for it. Of course, you paid for it. You got on it. You know what I mean? You had ownership. You had a relationship. You weren't a virgin. You know what I mean? You weren't used and abused. You went through the ups and downs of being in a relationship, and you came off the relationship and the roller coaster, and you said that was awesome. There's potential I might hop on again. You know what I mean? We're still in touch, right? She knows what that means. That indirectly incites her competition anxiety. Shit, he could go back to his ex. I best get in there now. Whether he does or doesn't, I best get in there now because my time frame is, I'm on a bit of a restraint here. If you make out her to be a problem, she's going to look at you as the problem. And the thing is, you are the problem because a woman doesn't just misbehave with you as the man. If she's scared of losing you, if she loves you, if she finds you valuable. That woman isn't going to be a pain in your life. It's when she starts taking the piss. It is a clear indication of where you stand in your masculine spirit at that moment in time. That other woman knows that. When you come forth and you engage about the nitty gritty and the problems, at first at least, and you start putting this woman down, that woman knows that you're going to do that to her. This comes with the whole slut shaming thing. A woman doesn't want you to broadcast your sexual exploits and what each and every other woman is into, within reason. That's something to be bled nice and slowly throughout the entirety of a relationship, given that you're fortunate in love. But she doesn't want that her hang-ups and her fetishes and her quirks to be advertised to the people, because she knows in the realm of public perception in the woman's world, she'll be deemed as less valued. And that's why women slut shame their competitors, or who they deem someone threatening within their marketplace, someone who can take the man of resource they biologically crave and need. Be nice. That's all I need to say today, people. Click like and subscribe as always. Peace. Everyday Superpower, where we talk relationships, body language, game, everything in between. Yes. We're covering a lot of ground on the vital foundation and principles as what she wants from you, right? As a bare minimum, as a man. So if you've just joined me now, check out the last few videos. We're going over some very important stuff. Today, I'm going to talk about direction and ambition. It is a necessity. It is a necessity. She needs you to have ambition. She needs you to have direction. If you get in a relationship, if you are fortunate enough to get in a relationship with a woman and you don't have a drive, if you don't have ambition, if you are comfortable, confident, and you think, well, I pay the bills, I go to work, so what if I come home and enjoy putting my feet up and relaxing and then rinse and repeat? She's soon gonna cheat on you. She's soon gonna cheat on you because you're not moving. You're not progressing. Not progressing strictly in a career or a workplace, but you aren't showcasing the depth of character that she is drawn to, because she expects a man to have that. And if you don't have that, then you reduce that which she perceives you as in the realm of the man, in the realm of the masculine. A man in his nature, right, has a drive to be number one. It's a biological principle down to the fact that given you aren't, you're not going to be able to garner the resources necessary to care for both your partner and your children of the future, if not the now. And that is why there is a biological attraction from the feminine to the leadership. It's an important trait, and everyone can't be a leader, but everybody can have dreams and desires and ambition and actually take action upon that. And it's not a fact of trying to please anyone else. It's not a fact of trying to appease anyone or pedestalize someone in the process of you doing it. You're not doing this to show off. You're doing this quite simply to make your life better. You're doing it for yourself first and foremost. You're being selfish in the act of having ambition. You're being selfish in the act of having drive. You're being selfish in the fact that it doesn't matter who external to you says this, that, or the third, or wants you to do this or that or that. That's irrelevant, because what you have is yours, and what you have is a vision that nobody else shares with you. People will see the result. People will see what you achieve. People will see your position and relate you to your position when you make it work. But up until that point, no one else is going to see it. So like when people establish a business and do this and that, they expect their friends to join them. They expect their family to support them and join them and stuff. And it just does not work like that, because they don't share your vision, and they drop off soon enough when they acknowledge you're just going on your way doing your thing. And then people get surprised and say, oh, my friends don't support me anymore, blah, blah. Bro, they're not supposed to. They're not your fans. They're not your followers. They're not your consumers. They're not your target market. And when you establish a few businesses, do a few jobs, do a few things, you soon acknowledge that friends and business aren't side by side purposefully. You don't correlate the two. To do so is egocentric in your regard because you think other people share your inflated sense of self. People start a project to think it's the best thing ever because it's come from their mind, whereas the rest of the world serve as a mirror and tell you, yeah, it's not that good, mate. We're not interacting with it. We're not engaging with it. We don't care. We're not promoting it because it's not actually that good and I don't want to be associated with it. Real talk, real life. She wants to see you on a tangent. She wants to see you developing and establishing momentum. She wants to see you at work doing something of value because if that's the case, that means you as a collective have a bright future. If you expect to lead, if you expect to be successful, then in the family unit you'll be bringing those up you love with you once you attain that which you are heading towards. There you go. If you're not trying to go somewhere, if you don't have goals and ambitions and a higher sense of self and actual purpose, the only thing you're racing towards, the only thing you're directing yourself towards is the graveyard. You're just going to live and die. It's a sad existence. And most people are confused in doing that because they get complacent and they get distracted by the job, the just over broke. They just get confused and live a simple life. And truth be told, that woman doesn't fucking like that. She doesn't want that from you. The ambition stems from your surplus of masculine hormone that she doesn't share. Something you might find interesting is to see the effects psychologically as well as the aesthetic biological changes within the woman when she starts to supplement testosterone when competing in bodybuilding and the like. There's a tenfold different, and you see an emphasis of the masculine characteristic as to which you have an abundance of in relation to the woman in a day-to-day basis that you just don't acknowledge. You just take things as is, or you've been misguided into think everybody's the same, man. No, we're two different entities. And how it affects our brain and our drive and our willpower and our direction and our wants and our needs and our sex drive and each of all these different things, we're two completely different entities because we're running off of different fuel and we're being given different chemical messages. She wants ambition. She wants drive. She wants you to be better. You might be the best person ever right now, but she doesn't want you to just be the same person you were 5 years ago. She'll get bored. Men like simplicity. Men like minimalism. Have you ever seen like the memes? Well, it's not necessarily a meme, but people like memify it and promote it as such. Male living spaces where it's simply a mattress on the floor, a television and some beer at the side of the mattress because men don't need much. Men are content and men are happy with what they've got. Whereas the woman might come with a little bit of clutter and as they say, they make a home a house, right? A house a home even. Because they add the comfort, they add the embellishments, they provide this energy that we generally don't apply ourselves because we're two different beings. But she wants you to go out there and garner the resource to come back and be able to do what she wants to do. And if you as some people who come across these videos and search for these videos and some people who are engaged in like a red pill community as such, you might be traditionally, I don't know if you would call it right wing. I think it has more of an emphasis in America where it tends to be more of a, advertised as a right wing thing, like the traditional household. Definitely not progressive as to where the woman has the comfort, given she wants to stay at home and look after the children, and the man goes out to work and so forth. Obviously, in this climate, this economic climate, They've tried to influence both parents to get out, leave the kids, and pay 2 sets of taxes and still barely be able to afford the rent. It got completely weaponized, even though in principle the idea that people have the freedom to do what they want is completely fine. But if you subscribe to the idea of a traditional household, you want to be ambitious to the degree that you can continue garnering a surplus of resource in order for her to have the comfort she needs to stay at home, have the bills paid, have food on the counter, have the children clothed, and have a brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter future, right? Stop staying still, work on something. Work on something tangible and make it work. I'm signing out on that. Peace. Everyday Superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. Covering some foundational stuff, aren't we, on these last few videos. This is another one. Stop being indecisive. She does not want an indecisive man. Okay? It's feminine. I hate it to be so black and white, but it falls into the discussion of why can she never choose where to eat? Why can she never choose what to eat? Why can't she choose what to wear? Why can't she choose what to go? It's because she wants a leader in her life, and she doesn't want that leader figure or somebody she projects to be a leader through her collective unconscious archetype of man and masculinity. She doesn't want to see within you the spirit of undecisiveness, the contrary duality of that she wants. If you are indecisive, it's gonna waste time and energy when it comes to potentially saving her life, saving the children, creating a future and creating direction. Because you have to understand these principles and means of finding attractive characteristic stems within the biological survival makeup of the woman. She wants to know that you can lead her. And the man who is indecisive is wasting time at the crossroads. He's not moving on forwards, metaphorically as well as literally, given that was the case. Being decisive can come with a weaponized spontaneity that the man can use to keep the relationship fresh, to keep her enticed and in love with him, because she doesn't know what's around the corner. And when she doesn't know what's next, and she knows that her man can make the decisions for her, essentially she regresses into a childlike state whose father comes and says, we're going to Disneyland. Isn't that amazing? To be able to feel young again, to be able to regress to the golden years, to be able to believe in someone who has got a track record of being able to do. Not don't, not think, not ponder, but do. Take action. The man who takes action succeeds. The man who goes to the gym gets fitter. The man who engages in creativity creates. The man who spends time cooking learns how to cook more efficiently, better, creates more tasteful product. The man who learns how to write develops his spectrum of knowledge and understanding and application of word. The man who takes action is important, but if you are indecisive, she's going to leave you for the man who is decisive. This is a do or don't thing. This is a situation that you need to showcase this characteristic. You need to decide for her, because then she will trust you, allow you to lead, respect you as the masculine in relation to her feminine, and you won't have competition externally from the man who takes action. The undecisive man wastes time. We have finite time on this planet. She does not respect that which she deems wasteful in you. She wants to see you as resourceful because she is attracted by your resource, your resources. This doesn't just manifest within the physical realm, the material plane. This exists within the realm of time and space and everything. She might just not consciously be aware of that. Be decisive. When she asks you, What outfit do you think looks better? When she asks you this, that, and the third, give her an answer. Because she's come to you as the teacher to educate her, and you rightfully should give her an answer promptly in relation to what she wants to know. Take control, take direction. We're going here tonight, darling. We're going to eat this tonight, darling. What do you think you're having? Oh, I don't know. I might have this or that. You know what? That does sound pretty good. How about that? Yeah, no problem. Wear that dress for me tonight. I like that one. Oh, really? You like that one? Oh, that's the relationship of your dreams, right? But they're going to pin it on you and say, oh, you're manipulative. Oh, you're toxic. Oh, is this a relationship in the 1940s? No, it's a relationship between masculine and feminine, all right? And the moment a woman meets a man who is decisive, takes order, leads, puts himself at the front as he should, she won't want a man who does otherwise. From there on, she will find a man weak otherwise, right? You know what? I'm just going to leave that condense, yeah? I'm going to leave that concentrated. I'm not going to riff on that any further, spreading that one thin. I just want to let you know, be decisive, full stop. Signing out. Goodbye. Like and subscribe. Bye-bye. Everyday Superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. We've been talking about foundational stuff over the last series of videos. You know, looking a little deeper into the general realities of how you attract women, how you pass their tests, which we're going to talk about today, and how you engage fluidly, confidently, and in understanding of what she wants from you and how you can give it to her without selling yourself out, without being somebody you're not. And having fun with it, most importantly, not having these canned responses, not having this pickup artist, insecure, gay shit going on where you have to pedestalize the woman and do night game and go and speak to women and get 50 numbers in a night and all that. No, 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 no. Right? I'm going to talk to you about shit tests. I'm going to talk to you about how a woman will test you and the reality of such. Some say a woman will test you more if she likes you because she's showing care and attention and really wants to identify who you are and where you stand. Whereas me personally, I could sway on the fact that she'll test you less. Some women will test you less because she'll feel so comfortable and calm and understanding and perceptive of your value that she needn't go out of her way to do so, right? The ladies who have tested me the most have been the ones who have been, in a way, out of my league, right? They've been a little more hands-on, a little bit more aggressive in their approach. And this was when I was younger, right? Older women I'm speaking of, in particular. When I've dated older women, more experienced women, and I've been a little bit younger, it's been a necessity for them to really sort of put their foot on the gas with the testing, just to ensure they're not, foolishly hanging around with someone who is immature. Understandable. So what is the test? The test is a biological principle in the woman's nature. She needs to throw a few curveballs out there. She needs to, and this is like a red pill rage sort of thing, and I can understand why initially, but it's part of the fun. When you start to identify it, it's really kind of fun, because you have to understand, when you pass the test, when you react positively and, you maneuver yourself appropriately when being given these situations, it actually elevates your value in the eye of the woman. So it's important to understand. It's not to be looked down upon. It's not like this woman is like probing you in order to piss you off. Because most of the time she doesn't know she's doing it. And I'm going to do a video on this. It's easy for a red pill creator or someone, some popular dating YouTuber person or wherever, whichever platform, to tell you everything you want to hear. Tell you how bad women are. Tell you how, call them all these sort of names and stuff. And I was watching someone only a couple of days ago. I put him on in the background. And we're not gonna flirt around this too long. But I just want to say, as a passing comment, someone who he's been doing videos now for years on YouTube, and I appreciated him initially. I thought he gave good game, and now when I put a video on with him on, he's like just talking about dumb things women do to test you. Well, this bitch the other day, and it's like this fucking bravado, this alpha male stuff, if you know where I'm coming from. And it's like, bro, shut the fuck up, man. Guy's got a stylist and all of that now, you know what I mean? And I see it, and it's like, it appeals to the bums who can't get women, because they're like, oh my god, he hates women too. Oh my god, he's annoyed by women too. And it's just like, as a man, why are you getting annoyed at women first and foremost? Why are you being emotionally provoked by what you perceive as the fairer sex, the weaker sex? Why are you even getting involved within that space? That's something you need to learn to get out of. And by doing so, you need to stop engaging and absorbing the information from these men who tell you how bad women are, because that's a bit gay, right? So I just put him on, and I was just like, what the fuck? You need to learn how to love women and understand who they are. And so I say that to say this. When we're talking about the red pill and we talk about red pill rage, it's when somebody starts to take, notice of the biological reality, the actual dance between the masculine and the feminine in relationships, in the transactional communications, in the way that there is an actual mechanic to how we engage. It's not just by chance. It's not what everybody's told you growing up. It's not just by chance. Oh, you'll just find the one. Don't worry about it. No, blah, 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 blah. It's not like that. And so people who have been living in a fairy tale reality, who have been living in this feminine dream forever, get a little bit annoyed. What do you mean she's going to test me? Why should she do that? Why can't people just like me, man? Why can't people just like me, man? Why can't she just enjoy me for who she is? Well, that's exactly the point. She wants to like you for who you are. And if she's sort of pushing at your buttons and you're reacting in an emotional manner, if you are reacting, and I'm going to go into the tests, don't worry. If you are reacting insecure when she references someone else, if you are triggered and overtly responsive when she brings up your height, maybe especially in relation to somebody who's taller than you, or so forth. The fact that you're reacting in a negative manner, you're exposing your weakness and how weak of a man you are, how frail you are, right? Why is she going to like you for who you are? That's your problem. It's on you. Take ownership, take responsibility, right? She's not just going to look at your shortfalls and think, you know what, he's brilliant, amazing because of them. No, but she's going to look at, something somebody could perceive as a shortfall, bring it up, accentuate that, see how you react. Notice that it doesn't mean anything to you. And she's going to be like, whoa, now it's something I am attracted to. Now I do like him for him. So these women will test you because she unconsciously wants to know if you'll be a good partner. Biologically, she wants to know if you're a potential threat. Biologically, she needs to know if you'd be a good father, right? First and foremost, she needs to survive with you. So if you react emotionally, if you're triggered in an aggressive manner, in an insecure manner and so forth, it's going to send a red flag off in her head because she's dealt with 20,000 million men before you through her unconscious recognition of patterns in the people around her, because she needs that as a woman. She needs to know which man is dangerous and which not in order to survive, because she could get, put in the back of a van and fucking thrown off a bridge. You know what I mean? So if she identifies any attributes with you that can relate to somebody who is not safe, of course you're going to blow her back, right? So you'll be on a date. And don't get me wrong, for the most part, she's not aware that she's doing this. But what she is aware of is that she's more attracted to you with that response. And she just doesn't know why. Or she's a little bit repulsed by you. And It may come to the conscious mind why she's repulsed, but it might not. She's just, at the end of the day, she has to think, he's just not for me, you know? So, like I said, it's a pushing of your boundaries to see where your boundaries are. Yeah? And problem or not, she will continue to do so until the end of your life, if not relationship, given that you do get into a relationship. Because she always needs to know where you are, and this is how she does so. And when you say women are horrible, men do the same thing in order to identify where you stand in the pecking order. Men are notorious, especially fickle, insecure men who don't know where they stand and need to know where they stand because it's so important to them to identify the hierarchy of things. They will passive aggressively poke at you, prod at you to see if you react, how you react, and so forth, right? And we'll do another video on that because I know how you deal with that, and this is how you deal with bullies, right? So there is a crossover between dealing with bullies and dealing how this woman tests you on a date. And I know that sounds terrible, but this is the reality of it, and you should learn to love this game, right? Because when you clue yourself up and identify this, you'll put yourself above the majority of men, hands down. Definite. So you're on a date, and I'll tell you some of the ones I've got. I was younger. I was on a date with a 23, 24-year-old. I must have been 18 at that. She was so much more mature, but she had just come out of a relationship. Maybe she was a little younger, arguably 22, 23, because it does seem quite steep. But she had just come out of a relationship with a more mature man, right? They had a place of their own. I didn't. I was living at home. And she just wanted to have sex, basically. But her unconscious still wants to identify if you would be a good partner or not. Anyway, as we know, when it comes to an older woman and a younger man, especially to that degree where that man is barely a man at that point, is generally not going to work out well. I slept with her twice, right? So it worked out fine. And I say that to say this. She tested me ever so much on this date. And I wasn't too aware during this due to my age. But in hindsight, it was clear as day. So first and foremost, she randomly brings up, I didn't need to introduce this, but she brought up in a passive joke, it wasn't a joke, about how I was still living at home with my parents. Just before I went off and got drinks. As I left the table, I just said, yeah. And then as I came back, I just said, you just mentioned that was the problem with that. Simple. But if I was to react in a manner which was uncertain, and if I had lied to her and said, no, I don't, which a lot of men would do, just lie to her, bro. If I was to have just lied to her, she would have seen that through my non-verbal communication. She would have seen that because she was an older woman. And women mature faster than men. There's still a young girl that resides inside of her. And once the men get older and older, they age like wine in relation to the milk of the woman. But in this particular age bracket, which I'm not going to go into, there's particular brackets of ages where people, progress at a particular manner and engage in a particular manner. And for the woman, it tends to rely on where she is hormonally. Does she want to have kids at this point? Does she just want to mess around at this point? Is she fearful at this point of things potentially drying up? Is she menopausal? Is she blah, 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 blah? Like, she goes through all these twists and turns, whereas the man doesn't necessarily do that to the same extent. And how we value things are differently. Her body's changing over these years, whereas our resources and our status and things she finds valuable in us will be changing, in this ever swinging metaphorical seesaw. So she asks me about the parent figure, blah 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 blah. We're walking back to hers on that night, if not the second night, and we're drinking a bottle of wine on the way back, and we finish it, and she's a bit of a punk rock, a bit of a rebel, clearly by her choice of being with me. You know what I mean? And she kind of hints at me to throw the bottle in the middle of the road. Right? In order to appease her. And I didn't do it. It was inappropriate. You know, when you're a young lad, and that there's nothing wrong with having a bit of fun and being a bit antisocial and stuff, but I didn't do it. And the actual action and emphasis and symbolic power of throwing a glass bottle, a big wine bottle, in the middle of a road in the middle of the night where it's just empty and quiet, and the shattering of such, that would have been a catastrophic display of my pedestalization of this woman. To show by demand I've gone and committed this antisocial act. This borderline illegal act I have committed just through being nudged by this woman, and that's how desperate I'm trying to appease her and make her like me. That comes from my own insecurity, and that was the pushing of my boundary to see what she could or couldn't make me do. And even though you might think, well, if a woman can control you and tell you to do anything, she's going to be into that. No, she's not going to look at you like a man, because you are not acting and reacting like a man. A man has got boundaries. A man has got particular principles that will stop her from going too far. If you can make me do that, what can you make me do? Watch you fuck another man. Do you know what I mean? And me just being like, are you just going to be able to go and cheat on me and come back to me and tell me you've cheated on me and me be okay with it? Because I seem to be getting walked all over you in every other regard in order to impress you, because I value you so much. It's backwards. She needs to be valuing you. So that's another thing. Where else do we go? Definitely the bringing up. Now, this isn't in relation to these two, but generally speaking, across the board, it's going to happen in any relationship, and you need to understand this. But it serves a purpose more than it just being a joke. She's going to bring up other men, whether they be on the television, celebrities, musicians she likes and stuff, or actual people she's been with or is around. She's going to reference on them being good looking, referencing on them being tall, on being handsome. Oh, I heard he's got a big schlong. She's going to mention these things, and she's going to pay attention to how you react to that. And if you react in an insecure way, in a threatened way, in a emotional manner, she knows, got him. And she's going to be turned off by that, but she's going to think, got him. Right? So indirectly, not only have you made yourself a little bit repulsive in the eyes of her, but you've actually minimalized how she values you in relation to the person she was actually referencing. I was in a relationship, and then I got out of a relationship, and then she used me as a way to annoy her boyfriend at that time, to the degree where we weren't ever in communication, but he messages me out of the blue saying some violent stuff. One moment. So, think about that. She's pushed his buttons and put him into his emotions, and, you know, even though we both have a rational side to us, we both have a emotional side to us, whether we be man or woman. It's more so within the realm of the woman to be emotionally driven and to be misguided under, or, you know, through our perception of the world and the reality through the lens of emotion. It gives us the incorrect information, right? We need to one moment. Yo, what's good? Sorry, I just had to restart some stuff there. There might have been a little bit of lag visually. Hopefully not audio at the end of there, but let me not digress. I was talking about getting out of a relationship with someone, and then her ex-partner got in touch with me, making violent remarks, right? Trying to threaten me, or in the face of the law, threatening me via word, which if you yourself are a violent individual, I wouldn't recommend typing what you're going to do on the internet or in any word whatsoever, in all honesty. It's a little bit theatrical, and I think it's a good showcase that you're not really about it or have been in trouble purely as why would you put it in words. So I received this message because they've had an argument, and she's brought up to him, me, in order to wind him up, and he's failed the task. And this is how it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, how some of these things work. So he's acted the big man, acted emotionally, blinded by his emotions, the most volatile emotion, anger, he has gotten in touch with me as to where I've received this message. I've not responded to him, but I have gotten in touch with her to say, what's going on here? She has used him and his emotions and this test as a cat's paw to bring me back to her, right? And she says to me, oh, no, I've told him this, that, and that. I told him not to blah, 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 blah. So now I am now engaging with my ex again, which I couldn't really be asked doing because she has manifested me through this emotional man. He has been locked out of this conversation and he's in his emotions getting angry, pedestalizing both of us in this situation due to the way he acted, due to the way he failed the test, right? Whereas if he wasn't phased, if he was genuinely secure, or if he felt whatever he felt but did not express it because he understood and he was stoic and understanding of oneself and thought, I feel this sort of way, it's a bit crap, but at least I can look at the world as my mirror and question myself why I feel this way in reference to her ex or so forth. Then we can build, then we can understand, then we can become a better man. And the lack of reaction to something she put out there for a reaction shows strength in your character, shows that you're not willing to take the bait, shows that you are in the dominant masculine position. Real game, real game, real game. I mean, if you allow her to continue pushing these boundaries, she'll push the boundary to the degree where she's cheated on you. And then she'll continue pushing boundaries and continue running these tests on you. Well, I cheated on him and I'm going to tell him I'll never do it again. And he's continued to keep me because that was the test in itself. Is he going to keep me or is he going to get rid of me? I've literally I've jumped on another guy's dick, right? And what's he going to do? Oh, he's fallen for it. He is okay with me cheating because I've just cheated on him and he's not cut the relationship off. I basically can do anything. What can't I do? And then that woman goes and does it again. And then we all act surprised. Come on. Let's talk more. Let's talk more because this is important. And whilst we're riffing on this, we might as well riff on it. Her understanding of your boundaries is paramount because she doesn't want to put herself in harm's way. The idea of you acting in an aggressive manner in response to her bringing a boyfriend up on the first date or so forth is a problem. It's a problem. She might be attracted to that. You know, psychologically speaking, she might like aggressive men. She might be entertained in volatile men. As I've said, I'm not an aggro person. I've never laid hands on a woman before. But from my background, a little bit of rough and tumble, the idea of conflict, I'm not alien to that, right? So she will have been in attraction to me to the same way as the next person because there's a aggressive undertone. Now, I'm fortunate in the realms that I never acted out to a degree where I got into any trouble and I was able to mature. Some people don't, right? Some people make mistakes when they're younger. And that's just the way it is, you know. When you get brought up in a particular environment as to where you're around, you know, a little bit of darkness, then it's easy for that child to absorb that and take that as is, you know. So you have to assess a person, understand the person, and know that there's certain particular principles and reactions and tests that you do need to respond to in a particular way. I had one. I mean, we're not going to go into the politic of it, but I was on a date. I mean, all these are first-time shags, man. Honestly, go on a date with someone, you go home and you sleep with them. That's it. Like, if you want to hear somebody talk about that sort of stuff, speak to me about that. That's the way it goes. If it works any other way, I'd be surprised, right? So I meet this woman up after work. She's a respectable woman, and we speak, and it gets a little bit political. And of course, she says it goes into like trans rights and stuff, and oh, if you feel this sort of way, we won't. If we're not going to be friends, this thing ends here, right? She speaks on her bold opinion in this particular matter. That wasn't in response to us arguing or being in a heated discussion. It was just she brought it up as a stern statement. If you don't agree with this, then You're not getting the punani. We're going to have to break it up. I'll never see you again. That was the test. Am I going to be able to manipulate him into agreeing with me politically, right? Or is he going to get emotional at the idea of him not being able to get his end away tonight? You know, I'm not a slut, by the way. If you disagree respectfully, then you can continue respectfully disagreeing. That's not a problem. Because you're not going to engage and push back in an emotional manner as to where the emotions escalate. Yes? So, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think people can do blah, 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 blah. But as far as my children are concerned, I would blah, 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 blah. I think it's this and that. No problem. We moved onwards. We saw eye to eye. Gave me the box. Life is good. So understand the tests, and you have to think deeper, because like I said, it wasn't a merely yes or no thing. It isn't how it's presented. It's not that she's come forth and says, yes, you agree with me, or no, you don't. And if the answer's no, you're fucked. No. No. She's playing a law of power there. She's playing the left wing and the right wing. She's playing the Democrat and the Republicans. She's playing the Western world and the Eastern world. She is playing this duality of option, but she is the puppeteer and she masters both sides. You don't have to pick either the options. You can continue with the no, I disagree, but I'm not going to disagree with you to a depth where we're going to fall out over it. We can still see eye to eye, because why the hell not? And if you are going to fall out with me over where we differ, expecting me to be the same as you, and you're not going to give it to me because of that, then I don't want it anyway. That's your one bargaining chip, and I don't need it. So, joke's on you. Do you see where we're coming from? You need to understand the masculine principle, what you can do and can't do without. Apply it well, play with it, have understanding of self, and have such understanding of self that nobody can ever take you off of your center. Real talk. Click like and subscribe. Peace. Everyday Superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, a little bit of game here and there. You know what I mean. I'm going to give you some game. I'm going to tell you, don't lead with your wallet. Whether you have something or whether you don't. Okay? Let me sort this collar out. Come on now. I'm practicing hijabi, so I have to keep myself, modest. Don't lead with your wallet. But why? It works. It works. Women love me. Women pursue me. Women know I've got a nice car. Got a nice apartment. Wear nice clothes. Yeah, they do. And the energy you pull into your life is one equal to the frequency you emit. And that's one of superficiality. It opens you up to be used and abused, and more importantly, it low-key puts you at the bottom rung of the ladder. It makes you a trick, yeah? I mean, a little bit of glitz and glamour is okay, but if you are actively using a material middleman to extract superficial love off of the feminine out of want for this, not that, not you, then these relationships aren't going to go for very long. And if they do, you are going to be taken for everything you're worth. Your value as a man foundationally stems from your behavior, your character, your depth of being. And when you believe that you can use these external materials to be you as opposed to amplify you and what you are, then not only is it an incredible show of overcompensation, it will take you down a winding path that's hard for these people to get off. The richer men I know in my life who use this and weaponize this, not men who have made their own money, but men who have been born into families that have money, and so in being so, they low-key understand it's not through their own intelligence, their own intellect, their own character. So there's an underlying insecurity and frail sense of self, but they think, well, it's worked all the way up until this point. Women give me attention. Women supposedly are attracted to me up until this point because of this, because I buy them drinks at the bar, because I drive a nice car, because I go on holidays and I bring them with me to these nice locations and such. Trust me, between you and me, I'm speaking real life. These men do get cheated on. And you would think, why would she fuck up the bag? And it's like, because it doesn't matter, because she doesn't respect the man. And this is a cycle that continues onwards and onwards and onwards. Now, I would rather have money than not, such as I'm sure you would, such as I'm sure everybody would. And that's definitely a better position to be in, most definitely. The woman likes the resources, but if you haven't got the masculine principle as to which her feminine is attracted to, if this money comes easy to you or has been given to you or is being used evidently, clearly, as a means of marketing to women, she's going to give you that attention and say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, most definitely. I'm in that market. Give me the money. Buy me the bag. Buy me the watch. Otherwise, we're going to have an argument because this is what I see you as. And you're consistently getting into these relationships and identifying this as love, and this is what a relationship is. Because you've never understood that you can hold back. The fact that you've got hundreds of thousands of pounds, millions of pounds, doesn't stop the fact you can say, nah, you can buy your own drink. A £5 drink at a bar. £6, £7 vodka mixer, right? Who are you to just be this charity case and to give people what they want when they ask because it's not that much to you? That's leading with your wallet. It's not a matter of economics. Well, I've got an abundance, so I can give like this. It's about a principle of yes and no. It's a principle of, if somebody, your good friend, takes 50 pence off of you and doesn't pay that 50 pence back, to me that's the equivalent of them taking £5,000 off of you, 50,000 and not giving you back. It's the underlying principle you have to understand. It's the foundational transactional basis you need to understand. If you put this superficial material in between you, it's a mask. The clothing you wear is a mask. The vehicle is a mask. The apartment is a mask. If it's unnecessary, if it's flashy, it's showy, and it serves purpose to garner attention, you have to raise question as to, why am I doing this? Am I overcompensating? Am I wrong? Let me read my note, 1 second. So, what I'm trying to say is, if an individual, such as yourself, if you're this person who feels that you need to pay the bills, that you need to do this and that, and don't get me wrong, there's arguments for and against, because it's all about dynamics. And the thing is, if you pay all the bills in the house, feel free to do so, but you own the house. It's not a situation where you go for a mortgage and your partner says, oh, I'll put £2,000 in to put a down payment in, and then you pay £15,000 on your end, and then you go 50-50 on the tenancy. No! No. And the thing is, you think that's fine because you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage, and that's the way it has to be. We're partners, right? No, because she's not going to respect you. Her feminine mind at that point is going to be like, I'm going to hit a lick on this guy now. This is pimping and hoeing. This is biological, right? She sees the resources she can extract from you now, disregarding the blinkers you've got on not seeing this as it is because you think, because she said, yeah, I'll be in a relationship with you, that this is, it's not fine. No, it's not fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. I know a guy, he got in a relationship, pissed his money up the wall, giving a shit. And then at the end of the relationship, he goes back and he asks for the earrings back. He asks for the watch back. What? She cheated on him, by the way. And then to go back and ask for... Wait a minute. So if you go and ask for that material possession back afterwards, were you just weaponizing this as a tool for me to stay with you? Because otherwise, if you really were the abundant man and this was part of your general nature and character, then you'd be fine with that. Why would you not be fine with that? It doesn't matter, does it? It makes you a target from the man she really likes. If you're flexing like a rapper and you've got diamond embedded gold chains around your neck because you're using that as a bit of glitz and glamour to attract women, attract gold diggers, attract people who don't even question who you are but just see you as material possession, financial abundance, then what are you going to do when she turns up to your place, sees nice art on the walls, sees jewelry boxes, Prada shoes? What you going to do when she doesn't come from that environment and she's in engagement with a few boys, might be her brothers, might be her friends, might be her girlfriends who have got a few, you know. Let's say she rings her girlfriend up. Oh my God, you won't believe it. He's got so much money. He just leaves it around. I can't believe it. Her girlfriend then tells her boyfriend, who comes from a different tax bracket. He's like, where does he live? She, who he's lured in with this money, with this financial abundance, has got her location on Snapchat showing, whether that be accidentally, whether that be generally, or whether that's for her safety and security as she just goes and stays at some randomer's house. She, the woman who has attended this man who's used the money as the middleman to lure her in, whether she has ordered this to happen or not, the man with his streetwise head spun on tight has acknowledged this is an easy raise, makes a note of the location. When are they next going on their next date? Boom, he's out of the house. Let's kick the fucking door down. This is what you do when you sell yourself as this materially abundant man. And the thing is, right, if you make your own money, if you invest your own time, if you build your own businesses, you don't end up buying a lot of fucking stupid shit for the sake of it being branded, for the sake of it being showy offy. You don't do that because you understand the value of your time and your money and your investment. That money goes elsewhere. That's real talk. That's real talk. Those who have to promote themselves in this particular manner, they don't have money like the next man who's not showing that off. And it's a showcase of insecurity because that inner child within them wants love, wants attention. And instead of being given a hug from mum and dad and uncle and so forth when growing up, they were just given shit that didn't matter. Oh, we can't give you... I don't really want to give you a hug or tell you I love you, but I'll give you a Rolex for your birthday. And that's how you now identify love. And that woman sees you, identifies that, sees this insecure, frail man, this shell of herself. Bruh. And that's why pimping and hoeing is a thing. Because the masculine mind, the need to be number one, the hustle and bustle identifies this and knows how to place the woman in the right position to extract this material off of these fucking idiots. I'm giving you good game here. I'm giving you good game. Honestly. Do you not think if you're flexing money, yeah, and I know a girl who you've attracted with this wealth, I can't go on the streets on a weekend, on a night out, see a homeless person, say, I got a job for you. We'll go halves. I know where there's a lot of money. Let's get you off of these streets. Some of these men are on the streets for burglary. That's how easy it is. Cat's paw that shit. Hypothetically speaking, I would never do that. But I'm just telling you, when you flex as opposed to actually have identity, actually have class, actually move in environments that showcase what you are, what you're worth, as opposed to accentuate it and showcase it with this crap, you look stupid because you are stupid. Because you are stupid. Real talk. If you don't engage with her emotionally, if you don't stimulate her fascination, if you don't stimulate her imagination, if you're quite simply just providing her with bits and bobs and trips and experiences that don't engage with her in a connective manner, but are more so used to buy her and what she has between her legs, is it if it's transactional, borderline prostitution. She's very well aware of that, and she will look at you like that man who goes to the prostitute and buys the punani. She will look at you as John. She will look at you as the trick. She will look at you as a consumer because you're not a creator. Because if you had created the wealth, you wouldn't be spending it and you wouldn't have this weak sense of self. Would you? You'd have entity, you'd have spirit, you'd have soul. Because you would have established a strong flipping understanding of self and awareness and foundation in your masculine principle. Click like and subscribe as always. I'm signing out. Peace.